Hello and welcome back to part 2 of Red Light, Green Light, or Let's Make Red Light, Green Light in Unreal Engine. In this video, we're going to be working on the NPCs. So I've already done this video once, but I've had a couple of, I've had a go at doing it twice. I've had a couple of crashes, so fingers crossed we won't have a crash this time. But what I have done is just created a folder called NPC. And before I go ahead and actually create the NPC, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just do a quick mock-up of the play space. So I'm just going to delete these. I'm going to stretch out this floor plane like so. I'm going to select both of these side pieces and drag them to the end here. And then extend them on the X. And then just grab this piece and move it over here. And this will do for us for our basic test room. And this is essentially what, the layout is. But we're going to put things in the, in the way, like objects. We're going to be using a lot of the free assets that you get every month. So if you're one of them people that collect the free assets every month, you're going to be able to follow along with everything, including doing the modular NPCs and all that. But if not, you can still follow along and get a good working game. Right. So we have now got our player who stood on the far side down here, and then he has to get equal to or past this character. Now it's a bit hard to see, but later on we're going to have these red light, green light robots lined up against the wall, or at least more of them, so you can see. It's not going to look exactly like the show. My finished version looks a bit different, but it still looks cool. Okay, so NPCs. Let's open up our NPC folder, create a new blueprint class. It wants to be a character, and we're going to call this NPC underscore BP. And let's go in and give it a mesh. So open it up, click on the mesh, and give it the male mannequin mesh for now. And in a minute or later in the video, we're going to randomly generate whether it's the male or the female, so we get a bit of random generation. And that'll also tie in later on when we've got meshes that are made out of a head piece, a body piece, a hand piece, and a leg piece. And we're going to join them all together, and then we're going to randomly generate those so we can create like loads of different NPCs. Okay, so first thing we've got to do is get the NPC to the same place where our player is. So our player at the moment can recognize when it is red light, when red light is true. Because if you remember, let's open up our enemy as well, just so that we have the tab open at the top. So we have this red light event, or we don't have a red light event, we just have a red light variable. And if that is true, then we set simulate physics. Or we could say that we kill the player, and we want to do the same with the NPC. So the first thing we need to do is get the relevant information or create a reference to the enemy. So event begin play, we want to get actor of class. Now, we don't want to get all actors of class because there's only one of them. So we want to get actor of class, and the actor of class we want to get is the enemy. And then here, return variable, promote that to a variable, call it enemy underscore ref. Okay, and that's that. Now, just to cement this, make sure it knows which enemy we are talking about. We're going to make this variable public by clicking this eye, and I always tend to click expose on spawn as well. So I compile that, and then what am I doing? Oh yeah, what I'm doing is now that we've made this public by clicking on this eye, we can click on the NPC. So we'll just open up and place an NPC in the world. And then under his options over here on the right hand side, we'll have a default now, and it'll say enemy reference. And if we click on the picker here, and then we need to go all the way down here to click on the enemy, and then click the enemy, and now it knows, it set it to that. It absolutely 100% knows that that is the NPC enemy that we want. But like I say, we've only got one, so it should have worked anyway. Right. But if you're wondering why we're doing this, it's because we can't cast between two actors. One of them is not the player. Right. That's not, we can only do that kind of casting if one of those actors is the player, or if there's an overlap. If there's like an overlap event. But in this case, there's not going to be an overlap. All right, so we can now get that information. Let's do the same thing we did before and check to see if so we've got this reference, we can drag it in and get it, and we can get is red light. Okay, and we can have a branch. Just hold down B and left click to get a branch. So is that true? If it is true, for now, just to make sure everything's working, we'll just print a string. It'll say red light true. Okay, and we'll leave it blue. Compile. Oh. So we should see the red light warning, and then red light true. Okay, so we're getting that information. Excellent. Okay, so all we need to do now, so we're not going to do the death in the same way that we did it in the player, because we were actually checking to see if we were moved. Now in the NPC, we're just going to fake it. So we're just going to create a variable called death randomizer. And that wants to be a integer. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to create a custom event. So add custom event, and it's going to be called death. And we may include this check inside here instead. Let's give that a go. So death, first of all, it has to be red light. If it ain't red light, then we don't want to do any of this stuff. But if it is red light, we want to set the death randomizer to be a random integer in range. And we're going to do that between 1 and 10. All right. So if it's true, then do this calculation. Set the death randomizer to that. Now what we want to do is have a branch, and out of that branch, we want to see if a integer is equal to or greater than an integer. And we want to see if death randomizer, so we'll get that and plug that into the top, is equal or greater than 5. So it's 50-50 chance at the moment, but you can change that obviously. If that is true, then we want to set simulate physics in the same way that we did for the player. And also what we're going to do is we're going to drag, we need to do this with the player, but we'll do it for the NPC first. Drag in the capsule and we'll set collision enabled to no collision. That way we won't be able to collide into their capsules, which is this thing, after they've died. Also, while we're here, let's click on the mesh, and under anim class, give him the third person anim BP so he can move and stuff. But he won't move yet, but we should be able to do this. So so event tick, can we just drag it? So I'm just thinking, am I best to do this in the here or outside? But let's just try it. So event tick, and then just type death, compile, and hit play, and see what happens. So we'll copy a couple of these NPCs because remember it's random 50/50 whether they're going to die or not. So let's get a few of them in. Let me just check. I've just had a sneaking suspicion I forgot something. So death. Yeah, no. That should. Yep. Okay. All right. Let's see. So watch them. Right. Nothing. Nothing. Okay. So that's strange. So let's see what the problem is. So let's try. So instead of having this, because I think this may be where I'm making a mistake. We don't want that inside. We want this here. So then we'll put that there like that. Okay. Like we had it set up initially. Oops. So red light warning, and then it should be red light. None of them. Okay. So let's go back here and have a look. So set death randomizer to be between 1 and 10. Then check to see if death randomizer is equal to or more than. Oh, here we go. Look, it's always that. I never, I never set the simulate physics. Okay, there we go. I'm pretty sure that should work now. You watch, it won't work. But if not, we can print that number out and see if it's actually generating it. Yeah. So they all did it though. Is that right? These have the same problem we had before with the character that they are not set up to ragdoll. So let's just go and click on the mesh and then go to collision and then ragdoll, compile. Now, I just want to check something. Oh, got loads of time. Let's hit play again. In fact, before we do, let's print these numbers out because I don't know what's going on here. Death randomizer is here. So if we just drag that forward a bit and print a string. And then plug that into there and then hit compile. I keep doing that. So let's see what these numbers are. So if it's above 5, this. Oh, because it's happening every tick. Of course. So we just want to do once. That's the problem. Okay. So where do we want the do once? In fact, we can just. I think we can just put it here. Do once. We don't ever need to reset it. If this. No, that's not right. Sorry, because we do need to reset it. We probably don't have to reset it off the tick. I think that's going to create an infinite loop. Let's just see. Let's save because it could all crash. It's not going to crash, but let's have a look at the numbers. Yeah, it's still doing it constantly on the tick. But let's just see if we don't do that. Let's hit play. I've got to stop doing that. So now it should just do once. Yeah. But will it do it again? Let's just check for the next ones. Red light warning. No. So we do need a way to sort of make it happen again. And I guess we'll just put a delay. And I don't think it really matters all that much how. If we just make that 3 and plug that back into there, then that should give it a chance to sort of spawn again. Oh, come on. Oh, got the wrong bit there. Anyway, before we mess about with that, let's just give that a check. Ah, you're not going to get me this time. Oh, did I plug it into the reset? Oh, no. So that it's the delay that wants to go into the reset, not back into the branch. That was a mistake. No, you got me again. Right. So red light, we get the numbers. We seem to get the numbers in the wrong place. We seem to get them twice there, didn't we? Oh, that weren't right. So the numbers should come after the red light warning. Red light warning, numbers. Green light. Red light warning, numbers. Okay. So that seems to be working. I'm just going to hit it one more time, see if we get, because we did have a bug in the first one. Red light warning. There we go. All the so they were all above 5. So in order just to give the NPC a bit more chance of survival, let's find the code where we here and set this to 2. No, 8. I think that's the right way. Yeah. Play. So now only if it's above 8 are they going to go down. Yeah. Green light. Red light warning, and then they go down. Green light. Red light, they go down. Now, one of the issues we have at the moment is they all go down at the same time. So in order to prevent that, what we can do is we can drag out of the true here just before we set simulate physics and have a delay. Now that delay wants to be a random float range, and the minimum wants to be 0, so it can happen straight away, but the max, now right now we've got all of these numbers set to be between 3 and 6, so our maximum for here, it wants to be 3. But what you can do is you can drag in enemy reference, get that, and then just get the red light timer and plug that into the max. So it will always be the red light time will always be the max. But again, this can look at not the best. So sometimes I just change that number to 2.5. But just so you understand that you could just plug that in there. Compile that. And now they can, over the whole period of the red light being a thing, they can keel over and die. So see now, the green light, they've stopped. Red light warning. And see, now they fall over at different rates. All right, cool. So the last thing I want to get done in this video is just a bit of basic movement. All right. So in order to do that, in fact, let me just check the time on the video. Yeah, we got time. So create a new folder, call it blueprints, and inside that folder, create a blueprint, an actor, and call it NPC target. Right, and then open that up, add an arrow, and this is literally just so we can see it, and point it up. Now make sure the arrow is visible in game, so tick hidden in game, compile, and all we want is actually all we're going to use is the location of this. We're not even going to probably get the arrow, but that's fine. Okay, now this is going to be a sort of random point that the NPC is going to choose, and he's going to walk towards that point. All right. So we don't put just one point in, and then everybody's clumping towards this one destination. This is just going to make it look a little better. Um, okay. So we've got one here. Where's my mouse? One here, one here, one here, one here, one here, one here, and one here. So how many do we have? We have 7. Let's do 8. Okay, that's an important. So actually, we've got NPC target, and that is going to be our 0. Then that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, because we're going to make an array of these, right? Um, so let's go back into our um, NPC. And before we do anything else, let's comment this. So, character of class. This is just an event begin play, so we'll leave that. This is the death loop. Call it for now. And this is the death event. All right. Nice and organized. Okay, so we want to come up here off the event begin play. Once we've got all axes of well, no, actually, we want to do a sequence. I'm going to do a similar thing, but this time we want to get all actors of class. It wants to be the NPC location. Oh, sorry, target, NPC target. All right, and from the out actors, we want to get a copy. Make some more space. All right, we want to get a copy, and the copy we want to get, remember, we've got from 0 to 7 because we've got 8. Because we have to include a 0, as you can see. We want to get random integer in range, but that random, that's strange. Okay, so that we'll get random integer in range. It's all of a sudden decided that I can't have that. I've got one down here, so I'll just copy and paste it. I don't know what happened there, because that is totally compatible. So we want to get a random integer in range. It should work for you. I don't know why it does that sometimes, and I don't know why. But this time it wants to be between 0 and 7 because we've got 8. And then when we've got that, we want to. I'm just trying to think what I'm trying to do. Getting all axes of class. Oh yeah, we're picking one. Yeah, so I want to promote that to a variable, and we're going to call that NPC target location. NPC underscore target underscore location. All right, nice. So we've got this here now that we can drag in and use that to tell the NPC what its initial destination is. So we probably want to do that on an event begin play as well. So we'll add in another then pin, and we'll drag in. No, what we'll do is we will drag out and get an AI move to node. Okay, and from the pawn, drag out and type self to get a reference to self. For destination, drag in the NPC target location, get it, and then drag that into the target actor. We don't actually have to put anything into the destination. All right, now I think this does create a few problems, which I'll probably not get into this video, but we will talk about them at some point. So I'll just compile that and then just get this set up and see if it works, see if it picks a random location to go to. Uh, so let's test this. Before we do that, though, we need to put in a bounds volume, a nav mesh bounds volume, and we'll just quickly size that. So stretch it so it covers the entire play field. Doesn't matter if it goes over. And then if you want to test where it is, hit P on your keyboard, and if it's green, you're good. Okay, so let's hit play, and they move. They don't stop. Okay, I think that's a simple thing to fix, though. What we were testing for there, though, if they are picking a different location to go to. It looks like they are. If you can see, they aren't all clumping and going to one direction. So it looks like they are. I can move my. Yeah, they're all going to different ones, so that's good. Right, to get them to stop moving is relatively simple as well. So let's go to our movement code, which is this. This is just this. We want to get an enemy reference, and we want to get is red light. Okay, and we only want to be doing the movement stuff if that is true. If that is false, sorry, we only move if it's false. Now we may find that we want to plug this into a tick, but we'll soon see. I've done it again. So they're moving. No, they didn't stop, did they? So no, that didn't work for us. So enemy reference, AI move to. Okay, I think what we need to do is just add a custom event, call it movement, and then plug that into there. Okay, and then if this is true, then we do movement. Call that function like that. Okay, and I think that should work. Don't press play in here. Why are they still now? So it's false. It's false. Compile, play. Oh. So they're moving, and when it's red light, they should stop. They're not stopping. Okay, well, I think what we're going to do is we'll noodle around with this for a couple more minutes. We'll try it coming from the tick instead. But I'm sure I did have this working coming out of the. So just plug that into there. I'll tidy this up in a minute. So now every tick we're checking to see if red light is false, and if it is, then we're doing movement. Play. Oh God. So red light warning's coming soon. There it is. No, they're not stopping. Oh, I'm being dumb. Okay, yeah, this is an easy fix. I know what I'm doing. Okay, if red light is true, then we want to disable movement. Disable movement. And if it is true, We want movement. I move to. I guess here as well we could just set movement mode. Walking. Compile. Fingers crossed. So I want to end this video in a second. Yeah. And then they still do the falling and everything. They still die. Okay. Right. So that's going to be it for this video. Obviously, we're starting to get this really working now. I mean, the game loop is essentially in, and we've got these NPCs, which are essentially just background characters, really, and gives you a bit of suspense, I suppose. What I'm going to do is select all these, copy them a bunch of times, because we want more NPCs, and then I'm going to grab them all again and just copy them one more time. So we've got a bunch of NPCs now. Right, the last thing we're going to do is we're going to open up our NPC. I'm going to I want event begin play, and now we've got a sequence here already. So let's just make some space. So just drag this up here. We'll comment this in the next video. I just want to get this done. And then on this next pin, we want to drag in the character movement component, and we want to set max walk speed, and we want to set it to be a random float in range. We use these nodes quite a lot. Random float in range, and we'll say the minimum is 100 and the maximum is 300. So they're not going to be speeding off. We'll also go to the character movement component and set the max walk speed to be 300, and then compile and hit play. And now we'll get a much more. Don't crash. Let's save. File. Save all. Now we'll get a much more staggered look to them. It looks much better. And then red light. Oh, I'm rubbish. And then, some guys going down. Now, we do have problems with people dying after the timer. But it shouldn't. But it does seem to happen. That's where you can change that number to 2.5, and that seems to refine that a little bit. So we'll just quickly do that, and then we'll sign off. So where was it? It was this red light time. So instead of having that as red light timer, has it as 2.5. And that seems to help that. Okay, so just going to wrap that one up here. And I'll see you in the next one.